Rob Williams and Nick Rees, welcome to the Tokyo Bleeding podcast.
Hello, Sam. Thank you. Thanks for having us on the show today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Now, we've got you on today to talk about the Knights in White Lycra, which I still think is one of the better names for a sporting club going around. Perhaps if you could start just by getting both of you individually to talk about yourselves, your history in Japan and your history in cycling. So perhaps, Rob, if you want to start.
Sure, thanks, Sam. Yeah, I arrived in Japan in 1999 and got married and now have two children, 15 and 11, two boys who are also into sport. I came here with a financial services business, which closed down 5 years after I arrived, and we set up a practice of our own called AP Advisors Limited, and we provide financial planning solutions to the expat community. But what's far more of interest to your viewers is what I do in my spare time, which is, as you say, the Knights in White Lycra. So I'm looking forward to talking to you about that.
Yeah. And Nick?
Yes, pretty much similar. I came over to Japan actually initially for the World Cup in 2002. I came over to watch the football, liked it so much, I decided to move over here 3 years later. Okay. Started a career in recruitment, which I'm still doing now, 17 years to this day. I run my own small business, focusing on tech professionals here for small to medium, some large businesses here in Japan. Originally from England. And once again, like Rob said, most importantly, we're here today to talk about what we do on the bikes and some of the other activities. I'm very heavily into sport. Even at 51 years old, I'm still trying to keep myself fit and enjoy the riding and also some of the other activities like the boxing and the other things that I do at the gym. Yeah. And so for both of you, how long have you been cycling? Has it been sort of a lifelong thing, or more of a, as we often tend to see, more of a middle-aged sort of thing? What's that been like for both of you?
Yeah, I got into cycling just over 10 years ago, actually, Sam. I started commuting to work from Nakano to Shimbashi. So it's only like 10K or so. And at the beginning, that was hard enough. But I was trying to make a lifestyle change, actually, because I knew I needed to lose a bit of weight and stop smoking and get myself fit in my 40s. And so I took up cycling more seriously the more I got into it over the last 10 years. And the Knights in White Lycra really was the catalyst for me to get into cycling seriously. And so it's very much a passionate hobby of mine now. So, that's my history of cycling.
Yeah. And what about you, Nick? I mean, you alluded to one of the other activities that you've done. I think that you were in either the first or the second executive fight night, which, doing several 100-kilometer rides and doing 3 2-minute rounds of absolute all-out brutality. It's sort of complete opposite ends of the fitness spectrum there. How long have you been cycling for?
Well, actually, pretty much the same time as Rob here in Japan, although I did do a stint with my local hometown cycling club when I was 16. For a couple of years, I was doing some time trials and 10-mile time trials, 25-mile ones. My bike got stolen, unfortunately, and then I got to the age where I could drive a car. I managed to get a car, and that was it. The rest is history. So I picked it up again when I got back here to Japan, and along with Rob and the rest of the guys. Yeah. So tell us, how did the group start?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We were all sat in the Hobgoblin in Roppongi, staring at our beer bellies and wondering how on earth we could get rid of them. And this was pretty much soon after the 311 tragedy. So we kind of thought, well, we need to get fit, and here's an opportunity to give back as well to the community we called home. And we planned this ridiculous bike ride between us, and we all had to buy bikes. I mean, I don't know about Nick, whether he had one already, but most of us had to buy them to even do it. So in April of 2013, we decided to get on our bikes and ride up to Minami Soma, one of the coastal towns devastated by the tsunami. And it's about 310k, something like that. And the first day alone was 160. And I remember inventing new swear words for the guy that decided which route we were going to take. And it was horrific. But we did actually almost make it to Miami Soma, save for the first blizzard in the area that they had in 40 years.
Oh, wow.
So we've not been cycling in April since because of the risk of blizzards. But eventually we did go back and finish the ride. And one of the things that really struck us, and I'm sure I'm speaking for Nick as well, was the emotion we felt when we arrived, not just for completing the ride as a personal achievement, but meeting the displaced citizens of the town that were all in temporary accommodation, and the gratitude they showed us, excuse me, for raising money to buy them food and drink, would you believe, like a year or so on from the tragedy. Really stuck with us, and we decided we're going to make this a regular thing.
Yeah. And how many were you? How many of you participated in that first ride?
There were 10 of us, Nick, weren't there? I think.
Yeah, I think was it 10? Yeah, it was 10, wasn't it? But yeah, it was 10. 10 people initially, and yeah, as Rob said, we were all a little slightly overweight, and it was just something really, a great achievement, something we really aimed for. Yeah.
And did you do the training and preparation for the event together, or how did that sort of come about?
I mean,
yeah, I think we did 1 or 2 training rides, didn't we, Nick?
Yeah, we mainly on the weekend rides. I think we all managed to get out together, and we'll probably cycle 50 to 100k on a weekend. It was painful. I mean, there's a lot of complaints from my side. I'm quite infamous in the group, actually, Sam, because I'm always complaining about my backside, and and just I've never found a saddle that actually works for me. So even now, I'm still struggling.
Yeah. And so what, how often have you done these events since? It's been over 10 years now. What sort of the activities of the group look like since then?
Yeah, well, I mean, on that first ride, we were the quintessential group of mammals. We were, the middle-aged men in Lycra. We really were. I mean, there were 10, I think we're mostly British, if not all, and all middle-aged men and all overweight. And that was the first year. But as I said earlier, it really struck us, and we wanted to do it regularly. And year 2, we had 20, and we rode up to Manami Sandaku that year, which was 500k away, one of the other coastal towns. And we had 27 the year after, and now we've reached a sort of a plateau of about 40 to 45 riders. This year we had people from 14 different countries. Wow. Ages ranging from 23 to 62, male and female. And one of the things we'd love to develop is to try and get more women involved. We had about 6 participants this year. So any girls, ladies out there that are not even necessarily into cycling yet, but would like to try, here's your opportunity.
Yeah. And is it just the one ride that you do, or are there different rides that you do throughout the year?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of evolved, really, Sam. Just on the cycling side, our flagship event is the 500-kilometer 4-day ride, which continues to be our most popular event and one which attracts the most sponsorship and fundraising potential. But we also do like what we call a virtual cycling challenge. So in the month of October, we have people subscribe to Strava, and we have a club, and we all go riding wherever we want to, whenever we want to. And we give them certain minimum 500 kilometers to ride in the month of November, or 5,000 meters of climbing to do in the month of October. And we have a similar event in November, which is for runners, and they do the same thing, a minimum of 55 kilometers to run in the month of November. So we did realize that cycling wasn't necessarily globally appealing, if you like. So we decided to devise other events, like the running, like an Imperial Palace walk, which we do in the springtime when the sakura is out. We do futsal, we do golf days. We even do pub nights for those that would like to give back but not necessarily get fit. And Nick is our quizmaster extraordinaire, I might add. And we've actually got that coming up on November the 30th, which is a sellout. So yeah, people really do want to give back. They don't necessarily want to get fit.
Fair enough. And is it always for the same charities, or how do you manage that?
No, I'm Nick. Do you want to expand on what we initially did?
So initially, we, as Rob mentioned, we cycled up to Minamisoma. A couple of people were helping us up there. There was people on the ground up there, and we rode for a charity, Saving Minamisoma, I think it was. It was a small charity that started up there. So we raised money to allow transportation of sort of certain produce, emergency produce, to give to the locals, and I think that's initially what we did. Subsequently, we've supported charities like Place to Grow, which is Angela Ortiz's charity. We've supported Mirina Mori, which we've done on many occasions as well, which is supporting how do I say this? Sort of schools really for abandoned children in Japan, people that have been less fortunate for us than us. We've done, I think we've ridden for them about 3 times, haven't we, Rob? Probably.
Yeah, three times in Mirina Mori, and then subsequent to that, three years with another NPO called Yumi Wee. And so they both of those NPOs are in the children living in care space, if I can put it like that, where they're offering educational opportunities to those kids above their normal school activities, just to give them skill sets which might give them a better chance in adult life, because they're already in a sort of a disadvantaged position just by virtue of the fact that they come from care. So we feel if we can equip them with educational skills, that they will have a better chance and get into more, better, more professional jobs when they do leave care. And so Yumi Wee was very much an IT-based digital education NPO. Mirina Mori, who we're going to support next year, is an outdoor based program, if you like, where kids can go to camps in the summer and winter, and one-day camps as well, sponsored by companies that give them the opportunity to do things that they might not ordinarily do, to overcome their fears and give them self-confidence and learn how to work in teams, and it just gives them a greater sense of self-worth. And so we're very excited to be involved with Mirina Mori again next year.
And out of those, I guess, is it 11 main rides that you've done so far? Are there any that have really stood out, or any sort of specific memories or specific stories that you want to recall?
I'll start on this one, shall I, Rob?
Please do.
I think Rob's already mentioned one already, which was the standout in the first year, Sam, which was the second day of the ride, and in fact it was the third day of the ride, and the weather was it was getting a bit cold, and we knew we had some elevation on the ride. Probably about 30k in, a blizzard hit us. And there were some hardcore people that really wanted to finish it, but we just thought it was too dangerous. We were so high up. So we pulled the plug on that day, and we, as Rob mentioned, we decided to come back the following month when the weather was better and complete the ride and meet the locals and do everything. But I think probably I think one of the moments that really does stand out in the second year. Now, we'd cycled 500 kilometers all the way up to Minami-Sanriku in some of the most beautiful scenery, absolutely stunning scenery. And that's one thing I will mention about these rides, is that we really get to see some beautiful parts of Japan that you won't ordinarily see on a bike or in a car or something like that. But on a bike or on foot, it's stunning. Anyway, we got to Minami-Sanriku. We had the US military there, all the residents of the town. The mayor turned up as well to welcome us. And about 100 meters before the end, we all decided to congregate together on our bikes so that we could all go in together, because on this ride, we all have to cycle in maybe groups of 5 or 6 because of legislation. Anyway, so we all congregated at the end of this road. I'm getting to the end of this story, but you'll like this one. We were at the traffic lights, and we held up the traffic coming the other way, and it wasn't a major road per se. Turned right into this road, coming down this road, all the bunting was there, people were waving, clapping. And what we'd done, we turned right at a traffic lights, which I don't know if you know in Japan, it's actually against the law to do that on a bike. And the police turned up. and they wouldn't leave until they'd pretty much got someone for turning right at that. We saw the mayor in the background basically saying, look, come on, these guys have cycled a long way, get rid, But it was one of those moments. But it's, putting that aside, just getting to the final part of these rides is just fantastic. Just the look on the faces of the cyclists, the people that we're going there to support as well. It's just something, unless you've experienced it, it's just incredible. And getting to meet some of the residents of Minimi Sanriku, it was just one of the memories that are out of many that I've got of these rides. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, just expanding on what Nick said there. I think one of the main things that we try to do, Sam, is to have the ride end at one of the children's homes that the charity serves, and it really does sort of nail down the purpose of the ride for the riders. And the children line the road to the care home. They've made flags of the countries that we all represent. And it's just such a beautiful thing that people can understand and solidify in their minds why they've ridden 500 kilometers, not just for their own benefit, but for the benefit of these children. And, the children range in age from 2 to 18. Some of them are a bit too cool for school and don't want to wave their flags at us. But the younger ones are so cute, and it's very emotional because, obviously these children are without parents, without any fault of their own. So it really is an amazing experience, as Nick says.
Yeah.
And on that, on the first year ride, the funny story I remember is one of our riders being chased up a mountain by a Labrador, and he wasn't exactly the lightest, most athletic rider in our group, and the Labrador was not going to give up. And I don't think that particular rider has ever ridden that mountain as fast as he has since. That PB will never, ever be broken. Personal best, I mean.
Talking of the wildlife as well, we have had encounters with the odd snake. We've had, as Rob said, the dogs. We've had bears. We've had, what else have we had?
Monkeys.
Yeah, we've seen monkeys. Yeah, so you get to see a lot of the wildlife.
Is there anything sort of coming up on the horizon? Obviously, you're planning on doing that same event again next year. What else have you got coming up?
Yeah, next year is actually our 10th anniversary, Sam. So this is a very poignant year. This year we crossed the 100 million yen raised mark. So this year's been iconic in many ways for us already. We're now up to about 115 million raised in total for community projects in Japan. And so, we're very excited to be adding more to that next year, hopefully. And the way we will do it is obviously the flagship event, the ride, which is on June the 1st to 4th. And applications will open for that in the month of January. We are almost always fully subscribed, if not oversubscribed. And as I say, it's for all ages and abilities. So don't be scared. If you feel like you would like to aspire to this challenge, then you're very welcome to contact us and apply for it. And then other events, because it is our 10th anniversary, we'll have a gala dinner in July and invite people to come celebrate what we've achieved over the last 10 years. But in addition to that, of course, we will have the walk, the futsal, the golf, the running, and the month of cycling as well. So it'll be a full calendar. It's been a bit hard to pivot in the last few years because of COVID, but we've managed to keep going in one way or another.
Yeah,
I think next year will be a full calendar of events for everyone to enjoy. And to keep up to date with that, just go to our website, kiwl.net, which will tell you where and when we're doing these events and how to participate. Yeah. Another thing I'd like to mention to your viewers as well is that the sponsorship opportunities for the ride itself. So we do wear a bespoke jersey for the ride, which has all the sponsors' logos on it. And we even have a specific day on the ride when one particular sponsor can sponsor that day. So if any companies are interested, we don't take any kind of a slice of their donation. It goes direct to the charity in return for putting their logo on the jersey and being part of this Get Fit and Give Back story, even if they're not participating themselves. So we're very much happy to talk to any companies that might be interested in supporting us in that way.
I guess you sort of mentioned people that might want to join. If someone that hasn't got any cycling experience and just the whole prospect of cycling that far seems a little overwhelming, do you sort of offer any sort of support, or do you have like affiliations with any sort of coaches that might be able to prepare someone for that endeavour?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the application period is the month of January, and I would say the majority of people we that apply are already cyclists. But even within that group of people, you have everything from leisure cyclists who do 50k max to almost elite cyclists. I mean, this year we had a professional cyclist in the group, so we had a huge range of ability.
Yeah.
But for those that are new to cycling, there's a 4-month period, obviously, to train and get ready. So we do weekend training rides with people, and we nurture people new to cycling through it and gradually build them up. But I'm also aware of the fact that there's a lot of off-bike training that they can do through facilities like your own, where they need to build certain muscles. I mean, it's funny because a lot of marathon runners come and say, that's easy. I can do a cycle ride. I don't even have to I can do it sitting down.
Yeah.
But I think what they don't realise is the muscle groups are completely different.
Yeah, for sure.
And you'll know all about this, Sam. You've really got to have a good core strength and obviously knee strength. And as Nick mentioned to me yesterday, back can be an issue on a ride as well. Nick's had to fight that issue himself. So
don't help me with that.
Yeah. So off-bike training is also important. So we'd love to get some of our riders involved in maybe some training sessions with you as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, more than happy to help out with that.
Are you interested yourself, Sam? I can see the questions there. Are you thinking about it?
No, I mean my younger brother is an endurance athlete. He's done a lot of triathlons and cycling as well, and I spent most of my life making fun of him for that. I'd probably be more likely to get involved in cycling than running. I joke and tell people I spent my whole life learning how to fight just so I don't have to run. But cycling might be open to in the future. We'll see.
Yeah, it's funny actually because it's well known that the British are very good at sports that involve sitting down.
Yes, true.
And we have quite a lot of British people cycling in our events, as well as obviously being famous for rowing and Formula One and things like that, where it involves a seat. So we're very good at that.
Yeah, well, I had a staff member years ago who's British and thought that just by that he would be able to be a much better rower than me, and we were both sort of training to get under 7 minutes on the erg, and he I think at the time and still is, I think about 8, 6, 7, 8 years younger than me and much leaner, and so I think he was the hot favourite, but I smashed him in that competition. So I do think of myself as being decent at those sitting down sports as well. So might be something I might be good at.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head about the endurance aspect of it. One thing I would like to stress is that it's not a race. I mean, it is not a race; it's a tour, and the only objective of this is to get people from A to B safely, and to get them to see the kids at the end of the 500k. That is the overriding priority.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm sure you'll agree, you don't run a marathon to train for a marathon, and neither do you need to ride 500 kilometers in 4 days to be prepared for our event. But you do need to be able to ride over 100k comfortably on a regular basis, and that will give you the confidence, if nothing else, to be able to do it. So although it might seem insurmountable at the beginning, it is a gradual process of building up to the point that you can do it. And actually, although there are hills, I mean, Japan's a hilly country, we can't avoid hills. We do try to make the ride fair. And what I mean by that is that it's not so easy that people won't sponsor them for their efforts, but it's not so difficult that people new to cycling can't do. So it's always a delicate balance between the two, but it's always an interesting ride. And as Nick said, the scenery up through Tohoku and Fukushima, it's just mind-blowing. And it's scenery you don't see on in a car. It's just fantastic.
The other thing as well, to add to this as well, it's teamwork as well. Let's say you got 40 people, we'll split up into groups, probably a 5 or 6 per group, something like that. And it's teamwork, you're helping each other out. So we won't put someone who's a really experienced cyclist and a fast cyclist into a slower group. So we'll put the people together so they can work together. We've had groups that, like to complete the ride and get back to the hotel in the evening and relax early. We have other people that like to have a leisurely ride, maybe take in 2 lunches and take loads of photos and stop on the way. But as Rob said, the main goal is to get to that end, to see the people that we're raising money for and really experience, parts of Japan that you wouldn't normally get to see.
Fantastic. Well, I will put your website details in the show notes. Do you have any sort of presence on social media? Do you post details of your activities on there at all?
Yes, we do, Sam. We've got a Facebook page, we've got an Instagram page, and we also have somebody who actually knows how to do it, believe it or not. Well, we do now anyway. So, I mean, I'm hoping next year that social media presence of Kibble, as we call ourselves, will be more prevalent next year. Yeah, we do. So Instagram and also Twitter, I believe we have an account as well. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'll put those links all in the show notes and urge people to go and check that out. And if this has spoken to those watching and viewing, and you might be interested in taking up that challenge, then I'd encourage people to get in touch with you. And thank you both very much for coming on the show today. It was great to hear about the history of the group and a bit about your activities. And we wish you all the best for the group going forward.
Fantastic, Sam. Thank you very much for the opportunity to tell people about what we do.
Great. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers, Sam.
Bye.